What's up, everyone? Danielle Basilio here with UNLV Wrestling. And in the NCWA era, UNLV Wrestling has produced two All-Americans, one of them being Coach Karst, who is the assistant coach right now, and then freshman Michael Canada. But with Nationals recently passing, UNLV Wrestling has produced two new All-Americans and a two-time All-American. And today, I am joined by the 2022 NCWA UNLV Wrestling All-Americans. Here to share their stories and their roads to nationals are the 133-pound West Coast Conference champ and now All-American Dawson Downing, the 157-pound two-time West Coast Conference champ Hampton and All-American Nathan Egbalic, and the 149 West Coast Conference runner-up and two-time All-American Michael Canada. First of all, congratulations on such a successful season and nationals performance for you guys. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. And how are you guys feeling?
Feeling good. Definitely wasn't satisfied with the outcome of the season for the team in general and for myself. But I'm very happy of the accomplishments that we did have.
Right, and I mean, focusing on those accomplishments today, a couple weeks has passed since nationals. So has that settled in for you guys yet that you guys are All-Americans? Dawson, we'll start with you on that one.
Yeah, definitely. I think it settled in really quick. I mean, my goal was just to All-American. I took about 4 years off, so this was my first year back, and I think I did really good in performing at the highest capability for only practicing for about 2 months. So I was really proud of my performance, and I kind of just went out there having fun, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I mean, Nathan, you kind of talked about how it didn't meet your expectations, but overall, looking back at your collegiate career, were you satisfied that you did get an All-American spot in your senior year?
Oh yeah, it definitely was a great thing, especially that it was my senior year. I've been wrestling since I was 5. So, having this work finally be able to really pay off and, definitely check that off the little checklist I have, it definitely felt great, being able to do that. But still, we did fall short of our ultimate goal that we did set at the beginning of the season, but we did get a lot closer to crossing that off as well.
Right. And it's all about that progress. And Michael, this was actually the second time that you All-American. So how does this compare to the first time?
Compared to the first time, or like compared now, it feels a whole lot more earned. Because when I first All-American, COVID hit and a lot of teams got pulled out. And so I kind of had like some forfeits and people had to drop out because they got pulled back. So I set a goal to All-American this year to prove to myself that I actually was like more deserving of this spot.
And I think that's what's so unique about all three of you, and really anyone in the sport of wrestling that does compete at the national level, is that each path is so unique to get to nationals and to ultimately become an All-American. And Nathan, in terms of you, I think one of the most unique things for you is that it is your senior season. So kind of what were your feelings when you knew that you made it far enough to become an All-American, but also knew that it was going to be one of your last times competing on the mat in your collegiate career?
It definitely made every match have a lot more weight to it. I definitely wanted to go out there and really make sure I did leave my all on the mat. That way, later on, I didn't have any of that guilt kind of biting me, in the butt, saying, oh, I could have done this different. I should have done that different. Just knowing I went out there, leaving it all out on the mat, completely emptying out the tank. That was huge, and definitely as each match got closer to, getting that placing match or the medal match, it just hit a lot closer to home, closer to the heart, really pulling my emotions out of me, I guess you could say.
Right. And I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put on anyone, but especially someone like you who is so driven towards your goals. So how did you block out kind of the outside world and just focus what was in front of you?
Definitely a lot of visualization, just kind of imagining what was going to go on in that match. I get a lot of good lucks and, you're going to kill it out there. And yeah, thanks, but definitely keep my eyes on the prize, definitely helped that a lot.
And Michael, you kind of touched on it earlier that you felt that it was earned this time. And I think when I was following along on Flow Wrestling, one of your matches, you let out a big scream after the end of the match. Just kind of explain the emotion behind that. What was going through your head?
I was definitely like I was overwhelmed because I was down by 2 points and like I felt my hands touch when I locked in the cradle within the last 30 seconds. And all I heard was go, go, go. And after I got my 4 near fall, I looked up at everyone and I just yelled because I made my goal to All-American again.
And Dawson, and this was unique to you in a sense that you took a layoff from wrestling and then came back to compete collegiately. And even more impressively, you just came back this season and 2 months before nationals. So with all that being said, when you wrestled through the season, did you figure that becoming an All-American can be a definite possibility?
Yeah, absolutely. When I started the season, I was really out of shape. I was I was really rusty, I would say. So throughout the season, I really just worked hard. I showed up every single day, and I definitely felt myself getting better and shaking off that rust. And yeah, I did become more and more confident as the season went on. And I think that's just from putting in that hard work and really just practicing at it.
I think also another unique thing for you is that you had a special guy in your corner throughout. It was Coach Downing, but more importantly, your father, who has been your coach since you were 5 years old. So how did it feel to not only have him as a coach in your corner, but just have a father's support with you throughout nationals?
Absolutely. It was definitely a super special moment. He started his journey with coaching for me for the most part. It was all the way back when I was 5 years old. We were together. So he was my coach in my corner basically my whole entire career. So finishing that off with him and having that be my last season with him definitely was super special.
Right. And on top of Coach Downing being the West Coast Conference Coach of the Year, he also got the NCWA Coach of the Year. So Nathan, you actually wrestled under Coach Downing for almost all of your life as well. So seeing him get that award, what was going through your mind seeing your lifelong coach get that award?
Man, it was awesome, honestly. Seeing him grow and, seeing him just continually get better and better as a coach. It kind of makes it feel like all the hard work that all of his wrestlers, myself, Dawson, Canada, the whole team, and basically everyone that has wrestled under Coach Downing, it makes it seem like it definitely paid off, because obviously he wouldn't win this award if he wasn't such a phenomenal coach. And actually seeing him be able to win it, especially in my senior year, it was just huge.
Now, Coach Downing and Coach Karst are big parts to contributing to the camaraderie and the winning culture of UNLV wrestling. So you guys are proof of that winning culture. If you had to give a piece of advice to any of your teammates who maybe look up to you and want to be an All-American one day, what piece of advice would you give them? Michael, we'll start with you.
My piece of advice to them would be don't hold any regrets. Always go out, leave it on the mat. When the whistle blows, 6 minutes of paradise. So just don't be afraid. Give it all for the whole 6 minutes.
6 minutes of paradise. I love that. Dawson, what piece of advice would you give?
My biggest advice would probably just be to show up every single day and put your 100% in every single day. Coach Downing also always says this, but as long as you show up and put the work in, it'll pay off in the end. And that's kind of just what I did, and it paid off in the end.
And it is certainly a useful piece of advice and one that is proven through the test of time. And Nathan, if you had a piece of advice, what would that be?
They kind of touched in on it, but I would just say just do everything with a purpose, whether that comes to training, wrestling, studying the sport. Just do everything with a purpose. It's just going to help you guys or help them just get that much better, rather than just going through the motions. They're actually going to want to do, whether it's the workout, the practice, the sprints, the cardio, the whole 9 yards. If you just continually do everything with a purpose, everything's going to work itself out.
Awesome. Now, stepping away a little bit from wrestling, kind of still within the same realm, but obviously nationals was a fun trip for you guys. It's always great to be around the team. So if there was one memory kind of outside of the mats from nationals that was a fun moment. Oh, Michael's kind of making a face. So I guess we'll start with you. What is that memory that comes to mind?
I got two. One was having Coach Downing called all of us out to the hotel pool, and it's like cold in Texas and the pool is freezing. He's like, outside of wrestling, we all need to make memories. So we're going to jump in this pool and we're all going to do it together as a team. And so that's pretty much what we ended up doing. And it was like one of my favorite moments out of the tournament.
And you said you had a second one. So what was that second
one?
Oh
yeah. The second one was we were driving to the stock markets. We're going to go shop and whatnot. And Coach was like, all right, I want to suggest a song. And he suggested a song by Childish Gambino. And I was like, you know who Childish Gambino is? And he's like, yeah, I love Childish Gambino. We were all just laughing in the car because we were all surprised that he knew who Childish Gambino was.
Hey, I mean, don't ever doubt Coach Downing and how cultured he is on this stuff. Dawson, if you had a memory, what would that be?
Yeah, I think some of the best memories were actually at the gym. So every single night, all of us wrestlers, if we made it to the next day, we would have to weigh in again and make weight. So there would be a number of individuals that would have to cut weight again. And I was one of those almost every single night. So I had to go to the gym with those individuals and just make weight. So I think one of the best memories is me just going there with some of those individuals and just working hard.
Right. And I think a lot of people don't realize that about wrestling or any sport that you have to weigh in for, is that weighing in is half the battle. So it's definitely a team camaraderie building activity to be cutting that weight. And Nathan, what would be your memory from nationals?
I'd say I have two also. One of them being just the flights. You get to see a different side of them, of the team, than what you normally do on the mat. You see them bright and early in the morning because we're leaving at 5. Some of us left at midnight that Wednesday before everything. So you just get to see a different aspect of them. And then I'd say the other memory would be just being at the stockyards. Wrestling's done. Everyone's able to eat. Able to do whatever they want, really. And a lot of us picked up cowboy hats. So that was a huge one also.
I mean, when in Texas, it looks like Michael's getting his cowboy hat. Wonderful. When in Texas, see what the Texans do, I guess. Regardless of the outcome of nationals, congratulations on your season and your well-deserved All-American titles. It was such a pleasure to work with all of you this entire season, and even greater to see you guys achieve great things. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.